Yeah, we're here.
What a fantastic product.
Yeah, what? And it's lights out for the Bones Circuit preview for the Japan Grand Prix, which is going down on Sunday early morning, 1 a.m. Qualifying is on Saturday at an undisclosed time because I forget what time it is. Anyways, we're talking about the Japan Grand Prix. Max has won it the past 2 years. Lewis has won it a couple times. Bottas has won it. They got a cool Ferris wheel there. And last year, 5 guys at least didn't finish the race. So there might be some crazy stuff. Speaking of crazy stuff, let's go to the Sarge Report.
We're going to win a race this year, and we're going to do this. Ice cream's my way back home, I guess you can say.
Sarge, wow. He's coming off of a tough race in Australia where he didn't even get to race because his man Albon crashed his car in practice and they said, Sarge, you got to give up the keys, brother. And he did. He's a good teammate, but he's back now. And we're thinking that he's going to do really well here at the Japan Grand Prix. Why do we think that? I don't know. We have no facts to back it up, but I just got a feeling Sarge is going to get up into the points. Let's talk about who doesn't have points, though. Sarge, obviously no points. We got 7 guys. Bottas, who's won here before, he has no points. Albon has no points. Pierre Gasly has no points. Danny Ricks, no points. Esteban Ocon, no points. Zhou Guan Yu, no points. Those are our 7 guys. Maybe one of them will rack up a point or two here at the Japan Grand Prix. Let me give you my podium pick. In third place, I'm going with Carlos Sainz. In second place, I'm going with Leclerc, even though I don't want to pick him. And in first place, I'm going with Max Verstappen. Again, coming off of a DNF, he is going to be back up in action. That's about as much analysis as I'm going to give you guys for the Japan Grand Prix. But actually, hold up. We do have the $1 Podium Pick Challenge. Comment on this video, and if you get the podium order correct, you will get $1. It has happened before. A gentleman received $1 one time because he picked correctly. So, good luck. Now, let's kick it over to why you're all here, the moment you've all been waiting for. Let's dive right in to the Bones Circuit F1 Fantasy League. Let's look at our top 10 right now. Our top 10 teams in the fantasy overall standings. Remember, the top 3 teams are going to get a little something at the end of the season. A reward, if you will. So the top 10 teams are in 10th place. We have Nightwalkers F1. In 9th place, we got Kailani F1 Racing Team. In 8th place, we have Darth Gandalf, the mystical Darth Gandalf. In 7th place, Positive Mental Attitude. 6th place, Mr. Bones. 5th place, we have Team, a lot of numbers, FKA, formerly known as Verkrappen. 4th place, No Mikey No _. 3rd place, Trey Chow. 2nd place, Race Highlights. And in 1st place, 2-time former champ, Stroll's Goatee. Now, let's look at what our champ, Stroll's Goatee, has been up to the past 3 races. Here are his teams. So it looks like he's sticking with the Ferrari-Red Bull combo, which is very successful. We'll get into that a little bit later on in the video. You're going to want to have Ferrari and Red Bull. He's had Stroll on his team each week, which is risky. He's had Albon on his team each week. And then he's going to have, looks like mainly Carlos Sainz, but he switched in Leclerc when Carlos was out. So it looks like you're going to want to have Red Bull and Ferrari, at least if you're going to be one of the leaders, and you're going to maybe want to have one of the Ferrari drivers. Let's look at what the optimal fantasy teams have been the past 2 weeks. So in Saudi Arabia, the optimal squad was to have Red Bull and Ferrari again, and to have Leclerc as your main driver. In Australia, because we had Max not do so hot, the optimal team was Ferrari and McLaren, with Carlos Sainz and Leclerc both on your team, and Carlos Sainz with a 2X on him. I don't know if that's going to be the same thing. Last but not least, let's kick it over to our man, Zach F1, see what his optimal squad is for the week.
So let's finally get on to the team selections for Japan. Now we'll start off with the wildcard team selections, because in Japan, if you have over 104.6 million in your team value, you can afford a Verstappen, Red Bull, Ferrari team, or another team I'll talk about in a second. However, this is the team one. Now for me, I'll be waiting until practice to lock this in. However, if Red Bull still look dominant, I'll be putting this team in with Verstappen, Sargent, Zhou, Hulkenberg, Albon, Red Bull, Ferrari. Now this is because I can afford it. Because I can afford it at 105.9 million. However, the wild card is Carlos Sainz, Fernando Alonso, Hulkenberg, Magnussen, Sargent, Red Bull, and Ferrari.
So there you have it. That is a little bit of fantasy analysis for all you fantasy aficionados. The season is far from over. Stay tuned. Now, next up in the show is the Bingo Bones. Let's take a look at how our board is doing. We have 2 solid spots filled in. We have 2 other spots that are on their way. And we have an opportunity this week to fill in a spot. We need Yuki Tsunoda to score points in the Japanese Grand Prix. He has scored points this season, so he can score points, and it's his home race. So let's hope that Yuki gets it done. Other than that, some crazy things could happen. Justin Bieber could show up. Taylor Swift could show up. I really doubt she comes to a race this year, but who knows? Toto Wolff could slam his headset. Who knows? Just who knows? There's a lot of who knows. Logan Sargent. He could hit a podium. Who knows? All right, so let's talk about another thing. Let's talk about how things are looking in the Bones Challenge. Remember, this is our weekly challenge that takes place outside of the Formula One platform. Winner of the Bones Challenge each week is going to get a little something, and then the winner overall will get a reward in well. So right now we have 4 teams tied for first. We have Crumb Groblin, Mr. Bones, Tapping Gas, and Stroll's Goatee, all with 13 points at the top of the leaderboard. Crumb Groblin is our official winner right now because he has a win under his belt for a weekly Bones Challenge. So what we're going to do is we're going to touch base with Chad Stones, and he's going to walk us through what he's seeing in the Bones Challenge this year and kind of his way of approaching the Bones Challenge. Over to you, Chad.
Welcome everyone back to Chad Stones Live. It is me, Chad Stones, coming at you with an exciting news segment, Bones Challenge Do's and Bones Challenge Don'ts. I was lucky enough to sit down with Crummy G, one of the best to do it this season at the Bones Challenge, and pick his brain a little bit. For starters, when we go into the pit, Crummy G believes it's Ferrari all the way and Leclerc. I think he just one time saw Leclerc pit first or pit the most times and has stuck with that his entire time. If I were a bet man, I would probably be looking for the first pit to be someone on maybe the McLaren team or someone on the Mercedes team. But when it comes to fastest pit, we do look at Ferrari as the fastest to do it in history. So we believe that they are going to continue on that wavelength. When we look at someone like Sarge, I believe that he is going to be sitting down in the exact same place, especially being off a whole race, not participating in the Melbourne Grand Prix. I think he's going to be a little rusty, and I think he's going to be sitting down there in that 16th, 20 spot. And Crummy G believes the same. I think he's a great driver, but he has not been improving all too much, unfortunately. Crashing. We saw George Russell, Verstappen, and Lewis being knocked out of the race due to car troubles and a crash by Russell. If I were a betting man, I would probably put my money on someone on Haas this week to maybe crash out. Someone like Magnussen or Hulkenberg, someone who's usually riding the coattails of another car. That could always lead to trouble and a little bit of a crash. Let's hope no one crashes, but I believe that will probably be the case. Looking at fantasy, we look at people like Stroll's goatee, someone who's been sitting at the top for a while. Crummy G believes he will be dethroned this week. But after really crunching the numbers, I think he's got a strong team, and I believe that he's probably going to stay right up there at the top, unfortunately for Crummy G, but very fortunate for Stroll's goatee. And we see someone like the triple threat battle of Lamar-a-Lago, Red Cargo, Fast Vroom, and Flenny Bones. I believe that's going to be a tie. I think all of them are hungry, and I think all of them can really get it done this week, and I think that's going to lead to a bit of a tie, always a safe bet. And last but not least, we look at the Bingo Bones, and I think the commissioner, no knock on him, but I think he got a little excited when making the bingo board. I think a lot of them are going to be tough to fill up, unfortunately. So if I were a bet man, I'd probably say no, but we can always stay optimistic and think yes. But again, if you're doing the Bones Challenge, I would look at something like no for that one, unfortunately. I wish I had the best of luck to all of you at the Bones Challenge this week, and keep those little things in mind, and good luck.
Thanks, Chad, for the good advice. Let's move on now to the Perfect Pick Challenge. Remember, this is where we're trying to get all racers in the correct order. It's tough to do on the platform, which makes it just even tougher. But someone might do it. The best we've done is 3 out of 20 so far. Crumb Groblin, I Love F1, Positive Mental Attitude, and Bones Exclusive all have hit a 3 for 20. So we need to have someone do better than that. Okay, well, the last one. Keep an eye out for the Triple Threat Challenge. Remember, this is Lamar-a-Lago versus Red Car Go Vroom versus Flenny Bones. This is the ultimate matchup. These teams are neck and neck right now. Lamar-a-Lago has 3 wins. Flenny Bones has 1. And Red Car Go Fast Vroom does not have 1 quite yet, but this might be his time for the dub. I'm trying to think what else I usually talk about.
I don't know.
That's probably good.